All right, is it healthy to eat nothing but sardines for a few days? Just a few days. Is it really healthy for you? Should you eat sardines for your health? Hello, everybody. This is Ryan over at High Carb Regenerator. Welcome to my channel. Today, I wanted to talk about that because every time I go onto my YouTube, I get this video that you're going to see in a couple seconds here that it talks about sardines. There's another one of these doctors, these miraculous doctors. They're so amazing. So anyway, let's get into the video. All right, let's get started here. I still can't believe that this is legitimate. It's only 6:44 minutes. Doubt I'll watch the whole thing, but I want to see if this is a spoof or a doctor's legitimately promoting sardines.
Sardines for 3 days? Why would a doctor recommend that? Let's start by covering the benefits of a sardine. Sardines are so nutritionally dense.
No. Falsehoods. Warning, falsehoods are ahead.
That you might be surprised to see all the stuff that we've got packed into them. My friend and colleague Judy Cho did one of the best infographics on these sardines. Her infographic shows that it's high in omega-3s and vitamin D and E and the kind of calcium.
Low in mercury. Low in mercury. It has to let you know. It has some mercury in it, right? It has some mercury in it, but it's low. Mercury is fatal in high doses, but it's a low amount in sardines. So eat them every day so you get that high amount.
Super easy for your body to absorb.
No.
Along with the important minerals that are tucked into these little special fish. Let me just brag on how good those omega-3s are for you. They're good for your brain and your heart and your overall health. By increasing those omega-3s, you decrease the risk of anxiety and depression by about 20%.
Or just take SSRIs. No, I'm just kidding.
The more you increase those omega-3s, the less you have of omega-6s.
Or you could. Now, here's something. I know this is crazy. I know this is crazy thinking. I'm sorry for even bringing it up. But you could just not eat a lot of fat, and then you wouldn't need to balance the fat out. Oh, shit. He said it. I can't believe I said that.
Sticking around in your body. And I mean sticking around. They cause an inflammatory response.
They do. So don't eat them.
They have no...
problem solved. It's just like if you got a gasoline car, but putting diesel in there is fatal to the engine, just don't put diesel in the engine. Not hard.
Omega-3s to fight against. So keep those omega-3s high and those omega-6s a little lower by eating.
But what do I do when I go to parties? What will people think of me?
These small, nutrient-dense fish. As soon as I convince people to eat them, they start pushing back about, what about all the toxins in those fish?
Well, it did say low mercury, which means there is mercury in them.
Here's the rule, folks. The smaller the fish, the smaller the risk of mercury. When the regulators came up with the guidelines on how much mercury should we be eating, they used one of the most conservative approaches, almost to the point where they make it.
That just means, because mercury stores in fat, so that just means it has less fat on its body, but it has the same concentration level of mercury as any other fish. It would be on a larger scale on a larger fish.
Impossible to have a mercury toxicity. For example, the recommendations are that you would have to eat 800 ounces of salmon per week to get close to that mercury risk. And what that means actually is you would need 1,000-fold times that to actually have a true risk of mercury.
I mean, I can't even believe we're having a discussion like this. Like, if it's in there, it's in there. Like,
mercury poisoning.
Whatever.
That's 800,000 ounces of salmon. The point is, you would need to eat so many sardines to get a mercury risk.
Yeah, so just keep doing it.
It's not physically possible.
Just keep doing it.
I
love the fact that these doctors will point out the fact that there's low mercury in the fish, but they're the same doctors who, even though there's a slight amount of arsenic in rice, will tell you not to eat rice. What's the difference? I don't know. I think mercury is probably more poisoning than arsenic, but I don't know, because arsenic is actually a natural thing. Like if you, apples, for example, have arsenic in their seeds. So it is naturally found in foods that we would eat, but it's not really that high of amount. So, but they'll use that as an example not to eat rice, but at the same time, when there's mercury in the fish, that, you know, it's fine. So just take that with a grain of salt. And these keto doctors are nuts. I didn't realize she was a keto doctor until I watched further on, which you see in a couple seconds here. But I just really wanted to, I didn't point this out, or I didn't even think about this when I was making the video. I mean, just at what point do we start looking at some of this stuff? Not us, like the people watching my channel normally, but at what point are these people going to start looking at these diets and like, what am I doing? Now, I know there's very restrictive high carb, low fat things too, but I don't really talk about the restriction. And I tell people to eat whatever you can within your realm. And if there's something that bothers your stomach or doesn't digest well, and if you had it in your diet for a little while, then just get rid of it. Oh man, this is so crazy. Anyway, I'm going to get back to the video.
The thing people chirp about is a BPA risk, because inside the can of a sardine is a plastic lining. And indeed, there may be a slight amount of BPA in there. I am not worried about that in my diet, but if you are, you can buy the sardines.
The BPA one is really hard to get away from.
So the first reason you should eat sardines is they're so stinking
nutritious. Who the hell it gets its nutrition from algae and other lettuce-like things that it eats in the sea. So why not just eat those lettuces that you can eat yourself?
It's because it's really hard to overeat sardines.
Because they taste like shit.
Let me explain. First of all, sardines come in a very convenient prepackaged dose. Yeah, each can is its own serving.
This video brought to you by Sardines.com.
And if you're like me, you can eat it right out of the can.
I mean, this isn't like a hate video. This is just like, what level of ridiculous are we going to get to before we realize that we're eating the wrong thing? Do you see? Like, everybody's like, well, you know, that diet works for you, but it won't work for me. Have you ever gone anywhere in another country, either in a different state, different city, down the block, you know, even at your own house? Have you ever gone somewhere other than where you live that also has like a squirrel or a deer or any animal, right? Have you ever just seen National Geographic, the deer all of a sudden's eating the lion? Can you believe? I've never seen it. Now, I know squirrels and other animals will kill other animals if it's a territorial issue, and I get that. You don't see squirrels just like huddled around dead, you know, like road rage, dead, no, what do they call it? Road death or whatever, eating it, because they just eat the same thing. So why would humans all of a sudden be the only species? Now, I'm sure there's other, you know, situations on this planet that eats differently. Yet you can still do a heart transplant with humans of any ethnicity. How does this make sense to people?
The second reason that sardines are really hard to overeat is that they induce satiety. Yeah, when you eat that fatty protein. When your body's like, this shit is so gross. Don't give me any more of this. We're full. We're good. That's what happens. Little fish, it surges the fat-based. Eat as little as possible is basically what they're always telling you to hormones. Come see me for your SSRIs later. Our appetite. It surges things like cholecystokinin, peptide YY, and your bile production increases. The bile emulsifies the fat and protein in that fish and allows you to absorb it. That's what it does. If you don't produce enough of that bile, you will indeed burp them up, but it gets better each day that you do it. Today's production of bile is linked to how much you produced yesterday. So each day of the challenge, you will get much better with this side effect. By the end of this challenge, your system will kind of like saying, all right, if you keep getting punched in the same spot, the first time it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt real bad. But after a while, your skin's numb. Maybe it's falling off a little. But if you keep getting hit there, you're not really going to feel it anymore. Better satiated from smaller amounts of food, thanks to your hormones. And you will not be burping them up. So the final reason that I like to brag. From algae and other lettuce-like things that it eats in the sea. So why not just solve?
What is happening? What is happening on this planet? Why is everybody is this another keto person? What in the hell is going on with this keto? It's everywhere. Now they're so desperate they're telling you eat sardines. I can't anymore. I can't listen to this anymore. I just, as I looked at the time that I've been doing this, it was 911, which is what from algae and other lettuce-like things that it eats in the sea. So why not just eat those lettuces that you can eat yourself? You're healthy. Maybe back in the day that was the case. That is not the case anymore. You're just clogging your arteries and you just happen to be skinny because you're starving yourself to death. Anyway, I'll send it out right now. All right, well, that's it. You heard it from the doctor. Doctor's always right? So I guess best thing to do is go to keto, eating nothing but sardines and oil because it forces your bile to be produced and, this and that and that. And so I guess it's safe, right? Anyway, I'm just kidding. Parody, not a hate video, but I come on, man. Come on, people. If you're watching this and you're not high carb, low fat, you're watching this and you're thinking, oh man, she sounds legit because she's got whatever, 402,000 subs. Wow. I mean, if I really wish I had recordings of the doctors that I used to go to back in the day telling me not to live that keto life because it was really dangerous for your system. And I didn't listen to them. And then 10 years later, I struggled just to get my hormones normal because of just how messed up my endocrine system got from this. I never put 2 and 2 together I had perfect testosterone back in the day. Then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, I'm fat. I'm going to go on keto. Back in 99-ish, somewhere in there. And I did lose a ton of weight. And then I never put 2 and 2 together back in the day in 2001, 2 years after I started doing this. My testosterone was like tanked and nobody could believe me because I was so heavily muscled. Everybody thought I was just doing steroids or something like that. And I was coming off and I was looking for more, replacement for it or something like that. So nobody was taking me seriously. And I never had the information, unfortunately, that I needed back in the day. Otherwise, I would have figured out that adding a pound a day to your diet of sugar actually doubled the testosterone for these teens in that one study. Or, I mean, it's endless. If you go to highdoot.me, it's endless. The amount of studies out there, if you really need studies, that prove that sugar is very, all we really need to increase our, endocrine system. And mine was tanking. I was tired all the time. I was, lethargic, wasn't even, I had passed lethargic. I was not functional whatsoever on keto 2 years in. But it takes years in. Your body, because especially if you got a lot of weight on you, right? If you got a lot of weight on you, your body's got storage and it can pull from different things to kind of mitigate what's going on. And at some point, it can't do that anymore. And that is one, shit basically is going to hit the fan. Eating sardines for however long. It's crazy. Anyway, that's the video. Hopefully you liked it. Leave any comments, questions down below. Like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you in the next video.